Hey guys, today we're looking at another Airfix kit, this time the 1/72nd scale P-51D Mustang kit. So let's open her on up. Now, much like a lot of the other Airfix kits I've reviewed recently, this kit does include paintbrush and paints, but I'm not going to bother getting those out, as, yeah, it's basically more of the same. Oh, actually, forgot to pull the clear parts out. Sorry about that. So, right away, much the same in terms of detailing. And one thing I will note, however, at least on this kit, is that the panel lines do seem ever so slightly overscale. Again, this is something that could just be my eye, but in a couple places it does seem a little overscale. That being said, though, they are nice and deep, so that, obviously once you go to weather, they'll look really great and stand out. So a little bit of a good and bad there, but it's not super noticeable. So I would say, unless you're really, looking for perfect accuracy, it shouldn't be an issue. Continuing on, got our upper or lower and upper wing halves on this sprue, as well as our flaps and rudder, which is nice again to have as a separate piece. We have our instrument panel, which is done by this part and a decal, our exhausts, some other bay doors for the landing gear, as well as the canopy frame. Detailing is nice, it's subtle, especially for out of the box. It's not half bad. We also get our pilot figure, which again is satisfactory. Continuing on, we have our two fuselage halves, which are, again, much the same as I said with the wings. The width of the panel lines could be a little tinier, but it's not a major issue. We also have our horizontal stabs, as well as our air inlet. There's other odds and end parts and intakes. Flaps in a different configuration, which is nice to include both. Cockpit detailing is nice. It's definitely surprising for something this scale out of the box to have. Our cockpit is a little sparse in terms of detailing, which is unfortunate given everything else I've said about the cockpit, but it will do. Landing gear is a little small, and this will definitely not show up on camera, but it does have a little bit of mold line that'll need cleaning up, but again, not something that you're going to be able to see on camera. Got our two fuel tanks, prop. Not a whole lot to say in that regard. Continuing on to our cockpit, you're given two different canopy frames for some reason. Not sure why they included two as opposed to just one. Also given our front windscreen. They're actually surprisingly thin for this scale. Again, not much to say that I haven't said about other ones. Moving on to the decals. Again, single aircraft markings. All are clear, good register. Not a lot to say. Yeah, I mean, Airfix did a good job with this kit. Continuing on to the instructions. Again, part breakdown is pretty straightforward. One thing I do like that they did mark if you wanted to get a separate stand for the kit and do it as in flight, they do include where to put the holes, which is a nice inclusion, especially if you say want to do your own stand. So knowing where to sort of balance it is a nice inclusion. Other than that, build's pretty straightforward. As I said, you're given two options for the flaps, either extended or retracted. Again, all the various inlets are given several options. Now, again, I don't understand why they decided to do two separate frame, or excuse me. Yeah, it almost seems like they're suggesting use the two separate canopy frames for either doing it closed or open, which is a little confusing. And in all honesty, I think they could have gone away with just the single one for using them for both. I do like that they include how to position the gear bay doors, as well as just all the little neat details. Now, moving on, lots of stenciling for this particular kit, and they do a great job of pointing out where it all has to go. What I don't like, however, is that they don't include any marking guide for this particular kit. You're just going to have to basically rely on the box art to figure out where to put all the decals, which is a little surprising. So yeah, I mean, definitely something you'll need to watch out for when decaling is trying to figure out how to put them all on, or alternatively source decals from either another kit or aftermarket. So overall, it's a nice little kit, especially considering the price. I think I got it on closeout from Barnes & Noble for about $5-6. So I mean, it's for that kind of price, it's definitely one to heavily consider if you're looking for a 1/72 scale Mustang. Other than that, though, yeah, it's a pretty good kit for the price. Sure, there's some areas that could be more detailed, such as landing gear bays and the cockpit. But again, granted, how much of that's actually going to be seen, and how much again are you willing to pay? As I said, for under $10 to get a high quality kit, you definitely cannot argue that point. So yeah, that was a look at Airfix's 1/72 scale P-51D Mustang. Until next time.